Ladies and gentlemen, a republic, if you can keep it, is attributed to Benjamin Franklin. He reportedly said this in response to a question about what type of government the Constitutional Convention had created, emphasizing the idea that the preservation of the republic depended on the active participation and responsibility of its citizens. Oh, what they could not have envisioned. In the intricate mosaic that is American politics, one figure stands out, casting a long shadow over the very nature of our republic. I do not need to say his name. His actions and words resonate across the nation, shaping not only the landscape of American politics, but also affecting the very core of our democratic institutions. The legal system has run the clock out trying to deal with him, or looking at it from the other side, he has run the clock out on the legal system. The question we must grapple with is not simply about the man himself, but what his behavior and attitudes reveal about the state of our country and its future, if it is to have one. This individual represents a profound danger, an unsettling force that threatens the fundamental ideals upon which this great nation was built. Just the other day, he suggested using the military on the, quote, enemy from within. What does that even mean? To attack our own people? To use the military against political opponents? This is not open for discussion or debate. I'm not ready to give up on the American way of life. We cannot be careless with the rhetoric about using the United States military on our own soil. There are strict laws and regulations for such situations, but first, one must believe in the law. I've studied history. I've seen how autocrats start, and we've all seen how they finish. I shouldn't have to name them. Instead of burning books, we should be reading them. Are we ready for dictatorship in the United States of America? We have come to a point in society where we reward ignorance and not being informed about current issues. This is unacceptable. Put down the social media. Put away the memes and pick up a book. At the heart of these concerns lies the erosion of the democratic norms that have guided us for generations. For starters, Trump's refusal to accept the results of the 2020 election and his claims of a stolen election do more than sow doubt. They undermine our electoral integrity and set a dangerous precedent for the future. When a leader disregards the will of the people, he jeopardizes the trust necessary for a functioning democracy. There can be nothing more un-American than this. Moreover, he has waged relentless attacks on the rule of law itself. The self-proclaimed law and order president, as the leader who weakens the structures meant to protect us, opens the door to lawlessness. Not just a legal failure, but a moral failure. Perhaps the most alarming aspect of Trump's leadership is his attraction to authoritarian figures around the world. Look at Viktor Orban, the Prime Minister of Hungary. Trump's tendency to centralize power and demand loyalty over ethics creates a chilling atmosphere that undermines democratic governance. This is not just a theory. It has real-world implications, as seen in the divisions that fracture our communities. His rhetoric has fueled an us versus them mentality, culminating in the dark day of January the 6th, a day I will never forget in the United States of America. On that day, a violent mob, stirred by Trump's words, stormed the Capitol in a desperate attempt to overturn the election results. Law enforcement was overwhelmed, facing a barrage of violence. Many were injured, and tragically several lost their lives, with others succumbing to their injuries in the days that followed. Over 140 officers were injured that day, highlighting the extent of the chaos. I reiterate, these are not merely political differences. Democracy itself is in danger. Voices of reason have emerged from military leaders and former officials, highlighting the concrete threats posed by Trump's actions. General James Mattis, a retired United States Marine Corps general and the 26th Secretary of Defense, has stated that, quote, America is better than this. He warns against straying from our democratic values. Mitch McConnell, the U.S. Senator from Kentucky, the Senate Minority Leader, has called Trump, quote, stupid and a narcissist. His long tenure in the Senate provides him with deep insights into the political landscape. Donald Trump's own Vice President, Mike Pence, does not believe Trump is fit for office and will not vote for him. The fact that Trump left him in danger during the Capitol attack probably doesn't help matters much. Pence was the governor of Indiana before he served as vice president. General Colin Powell, before his passing, recognized the need for integrity and leadership and noted that when those in power distort facts, they pose a severe threat. Powell was a retired four-star general and the 65th Secretary of State, with a background in military leadership, including serving as chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. General Mark Milley, the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff under Trump, has been cleared. In response to the Capitol insurrection, he reiterated that the military is not involved in domestic politics. He called Trump an autocrat to the core. Milley has served in multiple combat operations. Many historians have expressed similar concerns. Robert Kagan, a neoconservative scholar and senior fellow at the Brookings Institution, warns that Trump represents a significant departure from America's core principles. And John Meacham, Pulitzer Prize-winning author and historian, emphasizes that Trump's behavior could lead us toward authoritarian rule if left unchecked. He has written extensively on American history. Michael Gerson, a former speechwriter for President George W. Bush, echoes these sentiments, arguing that Trump's moral compass is flawed and endangers our democratic norms. I haven't even mentioned all of his former cabinet officials who have spoken out against him, calling him a threat to democracy. This list includes former Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, who voiced concerns about Trump's foreign policy decisions. Former Secretary of Defense Mark Esper, who has expressed disagreement with Trump's approach to military matters. Former National Security Advisor John Bolton, who called the Capitol riot a threat to democracy. Attorney General Bill Barr, who stated that Trump's claims about the election were, quote, bullshit. The list now tops 400 that I know of and continues to grow. Secretaries of Defense and State, respected figures, all agree that Trump is unfit for office. These aren't my words, they are their words. As we reflect on Trump's actions, we cannot overlook the significant legal challenges looming over him. Forget the two impeachments. Recently convicted for fraud for inflating the value of his assets, he stands accused on multiple fronts, facing charges related to business fraud and allegations of mishandling classified materials. In the state of Georgia, he faces serious accusations tied to attempts to overturn the 2020 election results. This is a former president of the United States and a candidate for president again. What have we lowered the standards of the most powerful office of the world into? What must the rest of the world be thinking? That shining city on the hill has turned itself into a narrative of chaos. These charges allege that he and others attempted to undermine the election outcome by pressuring state officials, including a notorious call where he urged Georgia's Secretary of State to, quote, find enough votes to overturn the results. This case represents a direct attack on the integrity of our electoral system, putting democracy itself at risk. In a powerful statement reflecting the disconnect within his former party, Vice President Dick Cheney has even gone so far as to announce his support for Kamala Harris, emphasizing that the stakes for our democracy transcend party lines. I cannot agree more. Cheney, a veteran politician who served as vice president under George W. Bush, has been a significant figure in Republican politics for decades. For those too young to remember, Dick Cheney is a Republican and he is as conservative as they come. Now, as we consider our choices moving forward, I urge you to recognize the profound reasons to support Kamala Harris. Here are just a few. She has served as both a U.S. Senator and the Attorney General of California, where she established a strong record in criminal justice reform and civil rights. Harris is a champion for racial and gender equality and has dedicated her career to fighting against systemic injustice. She knows the struggles many Americans face and advocates for policies that uplift marginalized communities. She recognizes climate change as an urgent issue and believes in policies that promote sustainable energy and create green jobs, understanding that our environment is tied closely to our economy. Kamala Harris advocates for comprehensive health care reform, ensuring that all Americans have access to affordable medical care, because health should be a right, not a privilege. Harris supports initiatives that boost small businesses, especially those owned by women and people of color, ensuring a fair economy that offers opportunities for everyone. She brings a nuanced understanding of foreign policy, advocating for diplomacy and human rights globally, restoring America's reputation on the world stage. In these divisive times, Kamala Harris promotes dialogue, understanding, collaboration. She seeks to bring people together and to bridge divides and heal our nation. Each of Trump's legal battles serves as a clear reminder of the accountability essential for upholding our democratic processes. In this critical moment, we must recognize the stakes involved. Trump's approach doesn't merely threaten politics. It endangers the cherished values of liberty, justice, and the rule of law that define our nation. The autocratic tendencies he displays, prioritizing personal loyalty over institutional integrity, and undermining the free press are alarming and contradict principles we hold dear. As we navigate these turbulent waters, it is crucial that we prioritize accountability and unity. Let us remember the ideals that bind us together as a people and stand firm in our commitment to preserving the integrity of our democracy. May we cultivate the wisdom needed to protect and strengthen the values that make America a beacon of hope and freedom for all. I know these words changed nothing, and they probably changed no minds, but they still must be spoken. We must try harder. We must become more informed about domestic and foreign matters. The world is a smaller and smaller place. And with all that, may God bless you, may God bless your families, God continue to bless the United States of America. Thank you, good day, and good night.